Hey, in this episode, we are gonna start React videos. What a great way to start. Now, before we get started, I just wanna let you know that in this episode, we're not gonna take a look at all the advanced things and crazy things we can do in React. I just wanna let you know and kind of explain how everything works and how it's different from vanilla JavaScript, because the mentality you need to write React code is way different from vanilla JavaScript. So prepare yourself, get ready, and let's see what React is about. All right, before we get started, we actually need to download Node.js. So if you don't have Node installed, you can go on nodejs.org and you can download this recommended for most users. Okay, you can click here on download, and after you do that, we can use npm to install different kinds of packages. And what we're gonna install is something called Create React App. And what Create React App is, it's a package that kind of sets everything up for us, the whole environment to start writing React code without us doing any preparations. Okay, so it's just a very simple way for us to get started. And I highly recommend to use this. I mean, I use it every time. I rarely set up my React projects from scratch. So we can go on Google and write Create React App, and we're gonna open up this GitHub page here. So github.com/Facebook/create React App. And if we scroll down here a bit, we can have a very simple way we can start our React app. And all we need to do is we need to write npx create React app, and then we give it a name. So let's open up VS Code, Ed. Again, stop talking so much and show us what you mean. All right, so here I'm just gonna navigate. We can go to desktop. I'm gonna go to open folder. Actually, I'm just gonna go to desktop here, okay? And what we need to do is we need to go to the terminal up here and click on new terminal. Okay, this is gonna open up our terminal. As you can see, I'm in the projects folder here, and all we need to write is npx create React app, like so. We add a space and then we give it a name, and that's gonna create us the folder with the React project. So for now, I'm just gonna name this project React. Okay, hit enter. So after we install everything, it's gonna say cd project React. So what cd means is basically we can navigate to that specific folder. So as you can see down here, it actually created the folder with the React project for us. So this is just a basic empty template that we can start creating React projects. So we can do cd project React, and that's gonna bring us into the folder. All right, that's one way. Or you can just open folder, and that's what I'm gonna do. And I'm just gonna navigate like so, because I don't want you to see all these different crazy projects going on here. So I'm just gonna navigate to it like so. And this already looks kind of crazy, so I'm gonna explain everything, so don't worry. Okay, the first thing we have here is node modules. Now what node modules is all the different packages that we install with npm. So if we take a look here, we're gonna have things like Babel, React, and React DOM, and all the other crazy things. Now, if you remember in another video I did, everything else we install, it's gonna go in the node module. So if we wanna add GSAP for animations, that package is gonna be installed and it's gonna lay in our node modules. So all the packages. So rather than linking things with the script tag and adding it like so, we download all the packages locally in here, and then when we compile our code and it's ready to be shipped, it's gonna be included in our final project, okay? So usually we almost never open this up. We never usually touch this. This is kind of just a folder that all the packages go in. And there are multiple packages that we're gonna work with React that we're gonna install through npm, and they're all gonna be in here, okay? So don't worry about this. That's all I'm trying to say. Public is gonna hold our index.html and some two other files here that don't really matter for now. So we just have an empty index.html here for now. Okay, that's all the public is. And most of our work is gonna be in this source file. So let me just skip through this a bit. We also have a git ignore, and what that does, it basically, if we're trying to push up to GitHub, it's gonna ignore these specific files that we have in here. So things like node modules, this can be huge if we download a lot of packages, and we don't necessarily wanna add this anywhere, okay? We don't wanna add it to GitHub, we don't wanna add it anywhere. So that's what git ignore is. It just ignores all the files that we wanna push up. We have package.log.json and package.json, and what this does, it just holds some scripts here. In this case, we have a start script. So what it does, it kind of just starts up our React project. If we have a final version and we want to ship it, so I have my React project done, we can run build, and what that's going to do is it's going to optimize everything for us. So it's very compressed, and it's ready to be put live somewhere on a server. Okay, we have test here, which we're not going to cover now. What that's going to do is we can run tests to make sure that everything works the way we want, and eject, which just kind of shows you all the different packages that we have installed in this project. But again, don't really worry about this for now. We're just going to close this up. And package.log.json, basically all it means is it's going to hold a specific version of each package that we have included in here. As you can see, it's kind of crazy here, but what it does basically is if we give this code to someone else and they want to install it, we are sure that they have the same version as us. So in case one package gets updated or something, they still have our version that we use on this PC. So what, okay, this is not even about React anymore, but again, I wouldn't worry about these so much. And we have README, which just gives us some basic ways that we can get started. Again, we can ignore this. We don't care. We don't care. Ed, let's do React. Okay, so let's open up our source here. And here is where we write all of our code. So the first thing we have here is an app.css. It just gives us some basic styling. But let's open up. Let's see actually what we get here. So we can go back to the terminal and we can run npm start. And what that's going to do is just going to open up a live development server so we can see our React code. So it's going to open up obviously on the other screen. So I have to drag it in here, and it's going to take a bit. So let's just wait. Let's go back here. So all we have is some basic styling in here. We have something called app.js, which we're going to delete in a bit because I don't want to overwhelm you with all this code, and we're going to start from scratch. We have a test file, which again, it doesn't really matter for this one. An index.css, which has some basic body styling and a code styling here. So let's take a look at what we got. Okay, so we just got this page here with a logo and some text. Okay, and we have an index.js here. And what this does, it pretty much just mounts our React app. Okay, now this doesn't make any sense. So let me just delete everything in here in our app.js. Okay, because this is a component. So I'm going to delete everything, and then it's all going to make sense. So if we go back here, everything's breaking, but that's fine. So what we need to do in React, the first thing is we need to create a component. Now app.js is a component. Now what a component basically is a file that holds all the logic, the HTML, the logic, and even styling in one file. So you can imagine a component as being a self-contained piece of code. So maybe a modal is a good example. You can have a modal that can be a component. And what you can have in there is the HTML, the JavaScript logic, and the styling. So how can we create this component? Well, let's create this app component again, and we're going to render it to the screen. So the first thing we need to do is always, when we create a component, we need to import React from React. Okay, that's the first thing we need to do. And how we can create a component is by writing a function. So we can just create a function called app for this example, like so. Okay, it's just a normal function. Perfect. And now what it actually does differently from like vanilla JavaScript is we can return, so we add return parentheses like so. And I'm just going to write a div here. And if that doesn't work, if you hit div and it doesn't work and you hit tab, we can go down here and click this and we can write React here. And that's going to recognize it as being a React file. So now we can create a div here. And I know this looks confusing as hell, but don't worry. I'm going to add a h1 with hello React. Okay. So this is one component we have here. I'm going to explain what everything happens in here in just a second, but don't worry. And all I'm going to do now is just export default app. So what export default means is it's just going to export this file. What happens here is we create a component, we export it, and in our index.js, as you can see here, we have something called import react again. We have import react DOM, and then in here we use this react DOM render to render this app component. And then there's a comma here, and it says document.getElementById. Oh wait, that's just normal JavaScript. Get document.getElementById on this root. All right, Ed, now I'm super confused. What's happening here? Well, what's happening is that we render this app component that we just created in our index.html. So as you can see, we get this root. Let's take a look at our index.html in our public folder. We're gonna go here, index.html. As you can see, we don't have anything in our body here, but we do have this div ID root. So what basically React does is we don't have any HTML. Everything gets generated inside one div. So our JavaScript takes all of our components and it's gonna generate from JavaScript all the HTML. So rather than having HTML and then a JavaScript separately, and then you get element by ID, you get you select everything separately, you just have JavaScript, have everything in it, styles, HTML and everything, and it generates it inside this div for us, okay? And that's what it does. We import React, we create this function, export it, and it's gonna be rendered in here. So now if we take a look here, it's gonna say hello React. So we've successfully rendered this function on the screen. All right, but what's going on here? Because normally we would not be able to use divs inside functions. Well, that's why we import React here. What React gives the power to us is that this does look like HTML here, but it's not HTML. What React does is if we return some code here, so like a div and a h1, this is automatically going to be compiled into HTML. So even though this looks like HTML, it's actually JavaScript, because what this happens basically behind the scenes, it's something like this. It's going to say react.createElement, and it's going to create a div for us. So something like this. This is kind of what happens behind the scenes here. So this kind of means this. But React does that without our worry, okay? We don't have to worry about these things. So what we have now is we can create these functions, or components, I should say, and then we can render them out to the screen. Cool, so we have this div with a h1 of React, okay? So this is our whole component again. All right, so what else we can do? Well, we can add logic to this, and the place we add the logic is before we return this HTML. Again, it's not HTML, it's something called JSX. All right, it's essentially just JavaScript. But if we want to add additional logic, we can do it up here. So let's just create a button here, a function that says hello. Okay, so we can create a const, say hello. I'm gonna just set it equal to an arrow function. All right. I'm going to console log hello here. Simple as that. So now down here, I can just add a button that's gonna say hello, okay? Now, rather than doing it like in vanilla JavaScript, where you would have to go and get a reference to this button, like document, the query selector, and then you would get the button that says hello maybe, so maybe you have a class of hello on it, and then you would do hello dot add event listener on click. You don't need to do these things anymore, because what we have here now is we have the function in here and also the button. So all we have to do is we're going to look at one event listener on click that we can use, and all we have to do is go here on the button and we can add an on click like so, on, and then a big C on click, and we can set this equal to something. And as you can see, as you can notice here, I'm actually adding curly braces. And what curly braces means is that we can add JavaScript in here. So everything I write in here is gonna be JavaScript. Okay, if we don't add this, then it's just gonna be plain HTML. Okay, so this would be HTML. If we add a bracket, then it's gonna curly brace, then it's gonna be JavaScript. So in here, look, I'm also gonna create a const counter. It's gonna set it equal to 0. And in here, rather than saying hello, I can add 0. That's gonna work fine. As you can see, it says 0 there. But I can even add this JavaScript number just by adding these curly braces and saying counter. Hit save, and as you can see, I still have 0. So that's what we can do here. I'm gonna change this back to hello. I'm gonna delete this counter, and I can add an on click here. And I'm gonna set it equal to say hello. So I'm gonna run this function, say hello, like so. Hit save. I'm not gonna add parentheses here because that would invoke the function as soon as it gets rendered on the screen. So I just have a reference to it. And now, if we take a look and hit F12, we're gonna see that every time we click hello, it's gonna console log and it's gonna execute this function. So look at that, we have everything self-contained. Look how much faster and cleaner this looks. Super cool. All right, what else can we do? Well, we can create other components as well. So maybe I don't want this to be in my app. Maybe I wanna have this hello component, a specific code that does something in another file. Well, we can do that. We can go in our source here. I'm gonna create a new file. I'm gonna say hello.js. All right, this is gonna be a new file. Now we can create another component. I can say import React. Again, we're gonna do this every time from React. So we're just gonna import the React package again from our node modules. All right, and now we can create a function, let's create a function hello. Okay, so this is going to be our hello component. And then here, again, we can just return a div, and we're going to have to switch this to React again, a div that has a button of say hello. And we can add the logic from here to here. There we go, hit save. All right, so we have this component now. Now we can get rid of everything from here. So I'm just gonna have some empty divs, okay? We're gonna go back here again. So we have to say hello. I'm just gonna add an on click again, set it's equal to, add the curly braces, say hello. Perfect. So now we can export this hello component. Export, default, hello. Default, I can't write anymore. Hello. All right, hit save. Go back here, and now rather than doing all the logic here, we can just import hello from, and we can navigate to our say hello component. And now look at the cool thing we can do. All we have to do to render this component here is we can just write it like a HTML. So we can do hello, like so. Look at that, that's kind of weird, isn't it? But hit save, and what we get is we still get that component showing up on the screen. So again, we can have here, this is the app component. All right, this is the app component. And in here, in our say hello, I can add something else. Let's add a h3. This is the hello component with its own logic and everything. Hit save, and as you can see, it still renders on the screen. So we can kind of modularize all of our code into these separate small files, and then we can just render them in here. So that's super, super cool. All right, let's take a look. Everything still works. Press hello, hello, hello. Everything works. All right, but this is a very unrealistic kind of component. So let's get rid of it. I'm gonna hit delete, and let's get rid of this too. So I'm gonna let's remove this import because we don't have that anymore. I'm gonna say hello React here again, hit save. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a component that kind of looks like a tweet, something that we would have on Twitter. So let's create a new file. I'm gonna say tweet.js. Again, all we have to do is say import React from React, and I just create a function called tweet. And I'm gonna kind of think of how my tweet is gonna look. I'm gonna return parentheses, and I'm gonna have a div here. Oh my God, let me switch to React again. I'm gonna have a div here, and what do I want in my tweet? Well, I want a message maybe. So I'm gonna add let's say we have a name, so someone that tweets. I'm gonna add a h3 of name. I'm gonna have the tweet message. Let's add a Pete for that. This is a random tweet. Twet, I wrote twet anyway. And let's say we wanna also have the number of likes to show up on the screen. So for that, I'm just gonna add let's add another h3, number of likes. All right, hit save. And now we can import this again, import tweet from /tweet. Now, all we have to do again is down here, I'm gonna render this component, hit save, and doesn't work because it says attempted import does not contain a default export. So we have to go back here in our tweet and say export default tweet. You're gonna see that we have this name, this random tweet, and the number of likes showing up on the screen. Perfect, and now we can also style this. So how can we style different things? Well, we can go to our app.css here, and we can create a tweet class, for example. Maybe I want a border of 2 pixels, solid black to this, okay? Hit save. And now to add an actual class to our tweet, let's go back to our tweet component here. We cannot use class. We need to use class name in React. And the reason we need to add class name is because we are in JavaScript again. You always have to remember that everything we do in here is essentially JavaScript. And class means a constructor function in JavaScript. So that's not gonna work, okay? So we need to make sure we do class name. It's something that React came up with to let us know that this is how we can add different styles. So if we take a look, nothing happens because we need to import our styles as well. So we can say import /, and we can say app.css, like so. Hit save. And now, as you can see, we have the border on top of this. Now to make this a bit nicer, I guess we can go back to app.css. We can kind of delete all of this code here, and we can get the app. We can just create an app and add a height of 100 VH to this, a background of light blue maybe. Hit save. Actually, I'm going to change this color a bit, something like that. And then we can go back to our app and add a class name here of app, like so. I believe I did lowercase, so hit app. And as you can see, everything is good. Let's also get rid of those margins and everything. I'm gonna just do it in this index.css. Up here, I'm gonna add a star sign and margin 0, padding 0, and box sizing, border box to get rid of everything. There we go. And now I'm just going to make this white. Okay, so we can go back to the app.css. So we have our tweet here. I'm going to add a default height of like 300 pixels to it and a width of 300 pixels. Okay, let's get that box kind of look to it. Perfect. So let's add a background of white. All right, and we can actually get rid of this border. I don't like the way this border looks. I'm going to add a border radius of 30 pixels. All right, something like that. That doesn't look that great. We can also add a display flex direction column, justify content center. Actually, let's do space around and align items center. Hit save, and this is what we have. We have the name, random tweet, and the number of likes. Very, very cool. All right, now how can we create multiple of these components? Well, look at this. We can just go back to our app.js here, and if I want multiple instances of this tweet, I can just copy and paste this multiple times. Now look at that. That's going to create us multiple components of this tweet. All right, but we still have name here, and this is some random tweet and number of likes here. Everything is still static. It doesn't look good. All right, so how can we make this a bit more interesting? Well, for now, let me just add a min height here, so it extends. All right, that way, if we have more content here, it doesn't cut off that blue. Perfect. I'm also gonna add a display flex to this. Just kind of put them like that. That's ugly. Let's do a justify content space around. All right, there we go. So something like that, that looks a bit, still looks bad. Line item center. All right, I'm gonna actually get rid of this hello because it doesn't have any meaning to us anymore. Hit save. All right, so there we go. We have 4 lovely tweets going on here. Okay, now how can we add custom names to it? Well, we can define a prop. And what a prop is a property that we can define on each individual component. So here, if I want, maybe I can add a name. I'm gonna set a name equal to, and I can just add a name, deved. All right, there we go. I can add for each individual ones, just copy and paste everything. So for this one, I can add something different. Let's say I wanna add Jon Snow. Game of Thrones is coming, so we have to prepare. Winter is coming. That's a name. That's a legit name. I'm not even joking. Delete this, and let's also add Mosh. Mosh. There we go. Hit save. And you know what? Let's add Traversy Media. There we go. Hit save. Perfect. So nothing's still happening here because in our tweet.js, we still have name rendering here. So if we add name in here, the props, what we have available in here is this name prop. So in our tweet, in the parameters here on the component, we can add a prop, a props parameter, okay? And now we can access the name by writing props.name. Hit save, and make sure, if we take a look now, it says props.name. So it's just random text. Please remember, if you want to use JavaScript in this JSX, in this HTML code, we need to add these curly braces. So now if we add props.name, hit save, now you're going to see deved, Jon Snow, Traversy Media, and Mosh. So how cool is that? Now, what we can also do is we can add the number of likes, the number of tweets, and everything else in here. So maybe I want to have the tweet. And again, you can add any name you want here. So I can say message, set equal to, this is a random tweet. I can just copy paste this for now, paste it in here, and in here. And I can just change this. What does Jon Snow say? I am the true king. And then Traversy Media, just hit 700K, my dudes. That's what he's gonna say. And Mosh is my new course is available. There we go, hit save. And now again, to render this, we still don't have anything. All we have to do is go back to tweet, and rather than rendering this plain message, we can just add the curly braces and we can say props dot and whatever we have here. So the prop name is message. We can copy this and paste it in here. Props.message. Hit save. Let's take a look. And as you can see, this is a random tweet. I am the true king, 700K my dudes, and my new course is available. So you can do the same thing with the likes as well if you want. So that's a good practice. So give it a shot. So there we go. Those are props. And if you want, you don't even need to write props.name, props.message. In here, rather than writing props, you can add curly braces and kind of deconstructure this with name and with message. So you can kind of extract the name and message. So rather than writing props.name, you can just have name and you can just have message. All right, this is a bit of ES6, which we're gonna use a ton in our React. Hit save, and this should work, yeah, the same way. So everything is still good, everything is perfect. We got it going. Now, one last important thing I wanna cover in this video is something called state. And a state, again, if you look over the internet and you're trying to figure out what it is, it can be quite complicated. And yeah, everybody's just trying to make it look like super complicated, but it's not that complicated. So what state basically is some data. So you can imagine it as a variable. And based on that data, your app kind of renders itself based on that data. So maybe you have a is logged in, a Boolean that can be false and true. And based on that state, your app changes. So if maybe is logged in is true, then maybe your HTML might look differently. So let's stop talking and let's start showing. I'm going to delete this tweet, everything in here in this tweet, and I'm going to get back to it later. And what we can do, we can create a state like so. We can say const, so it's kind of like a variable. And actually, before we add the const, we need to go up here and we need to import one specific thing from React. We're going to add a comma and we're going to add some curly braces and we're going to say UseState. Okay, UseState like so. And in here, now what we can do is we can say UseState. And in here, in this parameter, we can add the data that we want. Either that can be a Boolean, a false true value, a number, a string, whatever you want. Okay, so how can we add, what should we add? Well, let's say we want to create a text, and when we click on it, it's gonna change its color or something like that. So let's add a false for now. Okay, and in here we can create a const, and then what we need to do is we need to add these curly brackets and we need to set it equal to UseState. And the first thing that we need to do is we need to give it a name. So in this case, we're gonna add a is red. All right, we're gonna add a comma to it. And the second thing that we need to do is we need to add a name that can change this value. So first one is the actual name, and the second thing will be kind of a function that changes the is red value. So we can switch it from true to false. So you're gonna see this, it's very common. We're gonna use something called set, okay? Set red, that's how I'm gonna call it. And maybe if we have a count, I'm gonna create a count too. We're gonna create a count, and then we're gonna add a comma, and we're gonna say SetCount. All right, I'm gonna say set it equal to UseState, and we're gonna start the count from 0. All right, so let's experiment with these two. In here, this kind of switch, so let me go back. Let's try with the count first, because that might be simpler. All right, I'm gonna have a button here, and I'm gonna say increment. Perfect, and then I'm just gonna have a H1, and rather than putting 0 here, I'm gonna put that count from this state, okay? Hit save, let's take a look. So we have increment and we have a 0 there. Perfect. So how can we increment this? Well, we can create a function. We can say const increment. We're going to set this equal to an arrow function. And the way we need to work with state is we use this SetCount. So SetCount, I'm going to add, this is a function. And in here, what I want to do is I want count plus 1. And that's it. And here, on the button, I can add an onClick, set this equal to our function, increment. Hit save. And now, as you can see, when we click, it automatically is going to re-render this number, and it's going to increment for us. So again, based on our state, our HTML is going to change. Whatever you have in your state, your HTML is changing. So rather than adding fixed values in here, we just add our state in here. All right, so if we're gonna get some data from an API, and we would save that in a state. So you would have something like this, const user, and then set user or something like that. And you would have this equal to UseState, and you would have an object here with all the different things that the user has. Maybe it has a name of Ed, maybe it has an age of 25, maybe I have posts here, and then it's gonna be an array of objects or just an array. Maybe I have my first post, my lovely summer. It's not even summer yet. Anyway, so this is what you would have. And then you would render everything out here. And then you would just change the state if you want to add another post or something like that. And then everything is kind of automatically, magically going to render itself based on whatever you have in here. Okay, so that's what the state is. So as you can see now, we have this working. Let's also add a H1 here. And we're going to try with the other one here. And I'm going to show you how we can actually switch classes. Change my color, like so. Hit save. You're going to see we have a change my color here. And now what I can do is I can go into my index.app.css in here, and I can just create a red class, for example. And I can just change the color to red and add a font size of 50 pixels. Hit save. We can go back to our app.js here. And what we can do is we can set a class name on this H1. Now here's the cool part. We can set it equal to, I'm going to add curly braces. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to check this is red if it's true or false. And based on that, we can add the class name or remove it. So what we can do in here is we can add a ternary operator now. We can check that is red value. So we can write is red, and if this is true, we can add a question mark. If this is true, then I want the class red to be added. And then you can add these, the colon here, else, this would mean else. So this is like an if-else statement, else I don't want to add anything to it. Hit save. All right. So now let's take a look. When we click this count button, I want to change the value to red as well. So we can say, we're not going to use the set count. We're going to set the red now. So we're going to say set red to true. Hit save. And now take a look. Let's go back here. Once we click increment, look at that. We added the class. If I want this to toggle, we can add a is red, and then I can just switch its value from true to false by adding an exclamation mark. And that's going to say, hey, the opposite of whatever the value is right now. So if this is false, it's going to become true. When we click again, it's going to be the opposite of true. When we click again, it's going to be the opposite of false. Hit save. And now, as you can see, it's going to toggle. Let's take a look. Now we are toggling it. So that's a way that we can also add and remove classes in React. So as you can see, it's quite different from vanilla JavaScript, but it's way more logical and it's way more cleaner. And quickly to finish this off with the basics, I'm going to show you a good example that we could use this suite in a real world project. So what we would have is we would have an API call, and we would get all the tweets in here, and we would set it in this UseState. For now, we're not going to make an API call, but we're going to get a user. We're going to add a set user for now, and we're going to set this equal to UseState, and here we're going to have an object. And what we're going to have in this object is basically a name and a title, or a description. Name, we're going to say, well, actually we are going to have an array of objects because we want to have multiple objects. So I'm going to set an array, and here I'm going to have a name of Ed and a message of hello there. Then we're going to create another object, name. We're going to say John again with the message of I am Jon Snow. And let's create another one. We're going to have a name of Traversy and a message of I'm awesome. So you can imagine that we would get this from an API, and then we would set it in this state. So now here I'm going to delete everything, and in this app, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to add curly braces. I'm going to get the user dot map. I'm going to map over this, and I'm going to get the info, so all the information from this array of users. And actually a better way we could name this is users here, set users, and then we would have users dot map, and we would get each user in here. I'm just going to run an arrow function. I'm not going to add the curly braces here, so I'm going to leave it empty here. I'm going to add a parentheses because I want to return some HTML. Well, JSX, because we learned that this is actually JavaScript. And in here, what I'm going to return is actually this tweet, like so. Nice, hit save, and now we're going to get 3 tweets, 1, 2, and 3. But we didn't render anything inside here. So what we can do is we can add the name and the messages from here in the props. We can say name is going to be equal to curly braces, and we can get all the information from the state. And that is user.name, okay? So users and the name here. Perfect, and we can add the message. I believe it's set as message, yeah. We can get the message to be equal to user.message. And now everything just works magically. Look at that. And that's how we can use the state together with components to create some very, very cool things. So that's it, that's React. I didn't cover anything, I know, because I didn't want to overwhelm you with a lot of crazy things. We still have a lot of things to cover, such as fetching from an API, use effect, and router, and state management. There's so much more, it's crazy. But let me know if you want to see more, leave it down in the comments. And that's it from me. I want to see your reaction to this video, and I'll see you next time. Bada bing, bada boom.